What would your life look like if you truly mastered the secrets of cash flow? If money served you instead of controlling you? What if the path to financial independence is not about earning more, but about mastering the quiet, powerful flow of the money already passing through your hands every single day? Are you ready to discover how the financially free keep money moving in their favor, while everyone else stays trapped in debt, stress, and the endless cycle of survival? Welcome to a truly transformative journey. This audiobook, The Secret of Cash Flow Mastery, is your essential guide to understanding the true nature of money, and more importantly, how to make it work relentlessly for you. Drawing on the timeless wisdom of financial giants, we reveal the core difference between working for an income and creating assets that generate true, lasting cash flow. As the great investor once said, "It is not how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard it works for you." We will explore the most overlooked strategies that separate the financially free from everyone else, showing you how to move from being a financial victim to becoming a true financial master. Understand this from the very beginning. Many people remain financially trapped their entire lives because they were only ever trained to work for money, never taught to have money work for them. This mastery is about far more than just earning. It is about intelligent financial design. Stay with this audiobook until the very end, and you will feel a fundamental shift in how you see, use, and multiply your money. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We release powerful audiobooks and financial education content every single week. And every episode could change the way you think about money forever. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Command your cash flow before. It commands you. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. When you take true command of your cash flow, you reclaim control over your financial life and set the foundation for everything that follows. But the first step is brutal honesty, and most people are unwilling to take it. You must know exactly how much money comes in and how much goes out. Not vague guesses, not hopeful estimates, not rough approximations that make you feel better about the state of things. You must track every source of income and every expense with uncompromising precision. This is not a task you do once and forget. It is a daily discipline that becomes the backbone of your financial strength. Financial discipline begins with clarity. Clarity creates power. Power creates freedom. And that sequence never runs in reverse. Too many people believe that earning more will automatically solve every financial problem they have. But without control, more income only creates a bigger mess. Commanding your cash flow means understanding that each dollar entering your life is an employee, and your job is to assign it a clear purpose and a specific destination. When you fail to lead your money, it will wander. And the result of money without direction is stress, debt, and wasted opportunity on a scale that most people never fully recognize. You must become the manager of your money, not its victim. Decide in advance where every dollar will work. Decide what portion goes toward essential living. Decide what portion builds your emergency reserve. Decide what portion begins the journey toward real, sustainable wealth. This is not a call for endless derivation or a life of joyless restriction. It is a call for conscious, intentional direction. When you give money clear orders, you discover that you need far less drama and far less guesswork. You build systems that serve you even when life throws surprises your way. An unexpected bill or a sudden emergency will not destroy your stability, because you have already built a plan that absorbs shocks. The secret of cash flow mastery begins with this commitment to structure. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is protection. It protects your future from the reckless impulses of your present. Consider the mindset shift this requires. Most people react to money. They wait for payday. They spend. They hope nothing goes wrong before the next check arrives. You will act instead of react. You will see each paycheck not as a lifeline thrown to a drowning person, but as a tool to be deployed with intention. You will approach your spending with strategy and your saving with purpose. You will treat your cash flow like a living system to be guided, strengthened, and grown over time. This is the difference between control and chaos. Chaos keeps you anxious, reactive, and permanently one crisis away from collapse. Control gives you the mental clarity to focus on growth rather than survival. Begin with a simple but powerful habit. Sit down every week and record every expense without exception and without excuses. When you see the truth of your spending laid out in black and white, you will find leaks you never noticed. Expenses that have become so habitual, they have become invisible. Those leaks are silent thieves. They rob you of opportunity. They keep you chained to the next paycheck before the current one has even cleared. Cut them without mercy. Every unnecessary subscription, every impulsive purchase, every casual swipe of the card in a moment of boredom or emotional spending, these are all drains on your power. Redirect those dollars toward a purpose you choose. Build an emergency fund that covers several months of real expenses. Begin investing in assets that create income while you sleep. The path to mastery is constructed from these small, consistent, deliberate decisions made day after day. The mental transformation is just as important as the practical steps. You must believe, genuinely, deeply believe, that you are capable of leading your money. You must see yourself as the architect of your financial life, not as someone at the mercy of circumstances or luck. When you accept full responsibility for your finances, you stop blaming the economy, your employer, or the system. You stop waiting for a raise or a windfall or some outside rescue. You take action today with exactly what you have now. That decision is where power lives. Financial discipline requires courage, real courage. It means saying no when everyone around you is saying yes. It means resisting the temptation to buy what you cannot truly afford, or to impress people who will not help you build your future. It means choosing long-term security over short-term pleasure, again and again until that choice becomes your natural default. But the reward is extraordinary. When you control your cash flow, you sleep without fear. You plan your future with genuine confidence. You build wealth on your own terms, not according to someone else's timeline or someone else's plan. Think of every dollar as a seed. Left scattered on barren ground, seeds die. Planted with care and intention, they multiply into harvests you never imagined possible from such small beginnings. Your job is to plant and nurture, to water and protect, and to watch the harvest grow steadily year after year. Wealth is not luck. Wealth is the predictable, reliable result of disciplined planting and patient, consistent tending. When you commit to this process, you break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. You no longer fear the unexpected. You no longer wonder helplessly where the money went. You know exactly where it went, because you told it where to go. You have transformed from someone who serves money into someone who is served by it. And that transformation is the entire promise of cash flow mastery. Chapter 2. The Engine of Wealth. Build your income-generating assets. The single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If trained well, it can create enormous wealth. This is not a motivational slogan to inspire you for a moment and then fade into background noise. It is a challenge that demands discipline, strategy, and relentless, sustained focus. Your mind is the engine. The assets you build are the gears that keep your wealth moving long after you have stopped actively working to create it. When you understand that passive income is not a dream reserved for the privileged few, but a system you create through deliberate, consistent choices, you begin to genuinely master the secret of cash flow. The first step is clarity, the kind of unflinching, unsparing clarity that most people are afraid to bring to their finances. You must see your current financial picture with absolute honesty. Track every source of income and every expense. Not to judge yourself or feel shame about the past, but to understand the exact playing field you are operating on. Once you have a complete and accurate picture, you can begin directing your available resources toward asset generation rather than consumption. Assets are not random purchases or speculative bets made on a whim. They are carefully chosen structures that create continuous income with minimal, daily effort once established. Real estate that provides steady rental income. Dividend-paying stocks that deposit money into your account quarter after quarter. Bonds that deliver reliable interest on schedule. Intellectual property such as books, courses, or creative works that sell while you sleep. Ownership stakes in well-run, profitable businesses. All of these qualify as true income-generating assets. And every choice among them must be backed by serious research, sound numbers, and a clear plan for managing risk. Developing multiple income streams is not about luck or being in the right place at the right time. It is about building and stacking small engines of cash flow until they collectively surpass your living costs. Until the income from what you own exceeds the cost of who you are. Start with one stream and nurture it patiently. Reinvest the early profits to create a second stream. As each asset grows and matures, you will feel a genuine shift in your relationship with money. The anxiety of relying entirely on a single paycheck begins to dissolve because you have built a network of support that functions without your constant, exhausting presence. Your investment strategy must match your temperament and your genuine long-term goals. Some people prefer the tangible, predictable stability of rental properties where cash flow is concrete and measurable. Others thrive by selecting companies with strong histories of increasing dividend payments year after year. Still others combine digital products, licensing deals, and carefully chosen private business interests to diversify their risk across multiple categories. The common thread running through every successful approach is discipline. You do not chase trends or gamble with your future. You analyze, you plan, you execute, and then you step back and allow time to amplify your returns. Training your mind is the foundation beneath every step. Financial intelligence is not a gift handed to a fortunate few at birth. It is a skill set you deliberately develop through dedicated study and applied experience. Study market cycles. Learn how to read financial statements. Understand how leverage and compounding work, and more importantly, how they work together. Surround yourself with mentors and quality information that continually sharpens your perspective. The more you know, the clearer opportunities become, and the faster you recognize genuine value where others see only confusion or risk. The secret of cash flow mastery is not about working harder than everyone else. It is about designing intelligent systems where money works harder than you ever could on your own. A single rental property might cover your grocery bill, A growing portfolio of dividend stocks could eliminate your utility payments. A digital course that sells to customers around the world might fund your travel. Each asset is a small, tireless servant in a larger, expanding army, and together they grant you something that no paycheck ever truly can. Freedom of time and freedom of choice. Do not underestimate the role of patience. Building an engine of wealth is not an overnight project. It requires steady, consistent contribution, disciplined reinvestment, and the humility to let compounding do its quiet, extraordinary work across years and decades. But as the months accumulate and the years pass, you will notice a remarkable transformation. Your assets begin to pay your bills. Your savings grow without requiring new effort from you. You begin making decisions based on vision rather than fear. In the end, the true measure of success is independence. When the income from your assets covers every expense you carry, that is the day you have achieved genuine financial freedom. You are no longer bound to any job for your survival. You can choose work that truly inspires you or step away from conventional employment entirely. This is the reward waiting for those who train their minds and build streams of passive income with precision, patience, and courage. The engine of wealth is available to you. Begin today by creating one income-generating asset and commit to the discipline that will eventually multiply it into many. With each deliberate, informed action, you move closer to the life where your money never sleeps and your freedom is never in question. Chapter 3. The Ruthless Truth. Is your asset actually stealing your cash flow? A house is a liability, not an asset, if it takes money out of your pocket every month. This statement cuts through every polite myth you have ever been told about wealth. It challenges the comfortable assumption that anything with a price tag and a title deed is automatically building your future. The hard truth is that many so-called investments are nothing more than expensive, emotionally satisfying distractions. If something drains your bank account month after month, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what you call it, regardless of how proud it makes you feel, it is not building your future. It is bleeding it dry. This is the ruthless truth you must be willing to face before you can truly master cash flow. Look at your own financial life with the cold, clear eye of an auditor who has no emotional attachment to what they find. List every property, vehicle, or investment you currently refer to as an asset. Then trace the monthly movement of money connected to each one. Does it consistently put real cash into your pocket after every expense is accounted for? Or does it quietly pull dollars away in maintenance fees, property taxes, insurance premiums, and hidden costs that you stopped noticing years ago? The answer is often profoundly uncomfortable. But honesty is the first and most essential step toward freedom. Financial statements do not lie, even when we do. Income is income and expenses expense. If something subtracts from your wealth month after month, it is a liability. No matter how impressive it appears on paper or how good it makes you feel at a dinner party, the secret of cash flow mastery demands that you stop dressing liabilities in the clothing of assets. Families cling to large homes that devour their earnings, telling themselves that future appreciations will eventually rescue them. But appreciation is speculation, not cash flow. Until a property feeds you every single month with consistent positive income, it is not serving your financial life. Entrepreneurs pour money into expensive equipment that produces no measurable profit, convinced they are investing in growth. Without consistent positive cash flow, that equipment is dead weight wearing a professional disguise. Your job is to strip away emotion and evaluate every line item with absolute clarity. True assets are simple to define, but rare to hold with discipline. A true asset produces net positive cash after every expense, even while you sleep. A rental property with reliable tenants and a genuine surplus after mortgage, maintenance, taxes, and management fees is a real asset. Dividend-paying stocks that deposit money into your account on a regular schedule are real assets. A business that earns consistent profit without requiring your daily presence is a real asset. Everything else must earn its place by passing exactly the same test. If it does not put money into your pocket, it is working against you. Cash flow leakage is the silent killer of wealth. It hides in small expenses you have long stopped noticing and in large commitments you defend out of pride. A luxury vehicle with sky-high insurance and constant upkeep is a leak. A vacation property that sits empty while costing more in taxes and maintenance than it generates in rent is a leak. Even the accumulation of forgotten subscriptions can drain thousands from your potential wealth over a single year. Conduct a personal financial statement review as if you were the chief financial officer of a major corporation. Because in your own financial life, that is exactly what you are. List your assets, liabilities, income, and expenses with no excuses and no rounding in your own favor. Face the raw numbers without flinching. This exercise is not glamorous, but it is one of the most powerful things you will ever do for your financial future. When you see clearly where money enters your life and where it escapes, you gain the authority to redirect it. The moment you identify a false asset and act to correct it, you reclaim cash flow that can be immediately invested in something that truly serves your goals and your freedom. The secret of cash flow mastery is not a theory. It is a practice built on honest assessment and decisive action. You must be relentless. You must be willing to sell, cut, or restructure anything that consistently fails the test of a true asset, even if those decisions feel uncomfortable or go against what others expect of you. Remember that lasting freedom is not measured by how many possessions you display. It is measured by how much income you command without active effort. When your balance sheet is filled with genuine assets that pay you and stripped of liabilities that drain you, you create a financial engine that runs quietly and reliably, even while you sleep. And that engine is the heart of wealth that lasts. Stop deceiving yourself. The numbers never lie. Every dollar must have a job, and that job is to generate more dollars. Master this ruthless truth, and you master the very core of financial independence. Chapter 4. Plug your cash flow leaks now. A penny saved is a penny earned. You cannot hope to turn money into your faithful servant if it is escaping through cracks you refuse to acknowledge. Cash flow leaks are silent thieves that erode your financial freedom one small, barely noticed decision at a time. They thrive on your lack of attention and grow stronger the longer you ignore them. This is not about living a small or joyless life. This is not about depriving yourself of everything that brings pleasure. It is about ruthless efficiency and the discipline to direct every dollar you earn toward its highest possible purpose. Every unnecessary expense is a drain on the life you are working to build. Every careless purchase is a lost opportunity to strengthen your future. You must face this truth with courage and act on it with precision. Begin with a clear, unflinching analysis of your expenses. Sit down with your bank statements, your credit card records, and your receipts, and confront the reality of where your money actually goes, as opposed to where you believe it goes. These two pictures are almost never the same. Identify the patterns of waste that have become invisible through sheer repetition and habit. Subscriptions you signed up for and never use. Service fees you pay simply because challenging them feels like too much trouble. Daily impulse purchases that promise comfort in the moment, but deliver only quiet regret once the novelty fades. These are the holes in your financial vessel. Every single one must be recognized before it can be sealed. There is no shortcut and no clever workaround. Only the steady, unglamorous practice of awareness and accountability. Budgeting is not a punishment imposed on people who cannot manage themselves. It is a strategy of liberation. A disciplined budget is not a cage that restricts your freedom. It is a map that shows you exactly how to keep your money moving toward your goals. When you create a budget with genuine intention, you give every dollar a clear mission. You tell your income where to go, instead of spending the end of each month wondering where it went. This level of control does not feel like deprivation once you truly embrace it. It feels like power. Optimization follows naturally from awareness. Once you see where your cash is leaking, you must act decisively and without hesitation. Cancel the services you do not use. Negotiate lower rates wherever the opportunity exists. Replace inefficient habits with deliberate choices that actually serve your life. Review your insurance policies for better terms. Examine your energy consumption. Eliminate recurring expenses that add no real value to your daily existence. Small steps compound into powerful results when you pursue them with consistency and without exception. A single leak may seem completely harmless in isolation. A few dollars here, a small fee there. But together, they form a flood that drowns opportunity quietly and efficiently over months and years. Discipline is your greatest ally throughout this process. Without it, even the most brilliant financial plan eventually collapses into good intentions. Discipline means saying no to purchases that do not align with your vision, even in moments when the temptation is strong. It means holding yourself accountable when excitement or social pressure urges you to deviate from your budget. It means treating every dollar as a worker who must be assigned a productive task, and cutting any expense that refuses to justify its cost. When you master this level of financial self-control, you stop being a passive participant in your financial story and become its deliberate, empowered author. Remember that waste is not only obvious extravagance. The most dangerous waste hides in routine decisions that feel completely normal and completely harmless. Leaving lights on, paying for apps you forgot existed, accepting bank fees because making the phone call to dispute them feels like a minor inconvenience. These are all leaks. Each one chips steadily away at capital you could be investing, saving, or using to build the passive income streams that will one day carry you to genuine freedom. Refuse to dismiss the small numbers. They are the silent destroyers of long-term wealth. The secret of cash flow mastery demands relentless attention to detail. You cannot delegate this work to anyone else, and you cannot skip it in favor of more exciting strategies. The process itself builds the mindset of control and responsibility that makes lasting wealth possible. As you plug each leak and reclaim each wasted dollar, you are not only preserving money, you are training yourself to think like someone who commands their finances, someone who values direction over impulse, and future freedom over present convenience. Optimization is not a single event you complete and then leave behind. It is a continuous, evolving practice. Markets change, circumstances shift, and your needs evolve. Review your budget regularly and challenge every expense again and again. Ask yourself, with genuine honesty, whether each outflow still earns its place in your life. What was essential last year may be pure waste today. This is how you keep your cash flow strong, lean, and positioned for growth. The power of this discipline lies in the transformation it creates, not just in your bank account, but in you. By reclaiming wasted dollars and redirecting them towards savings and investment, you give your money the chance to begin working for you instead of working against you. You cannot build lasting wealth on a leaking foundation. Seal the cracks, guard every dollar. Refuse to allow unnoticed waste to silently undermine the future you are committed to creating. The moment you plug your cash flow leaks is the moment you stop working only for today and start building the life you have always been capable of living. Chapter 5. Master the flow. Predict, control, and dominate your finances. To acquire money requires courage. To keep money requires prudence. And to spend money well is a genuine art. True mastery of your finances goes far beyond simply earning a paycheck or saving a modest portion of your income every month. It is about cultivating deep foresight, building unwavering control, and developing an intuitive understanding of the patterns that govern cash flow. The secret of cash flow mastery demands that you anticipate the future movements of your money, both incoming and outgoing, with precision and clarity that feels almost predictive. It is not enough to react to financial pressures as they arise. By the time you are reacting, the damage is already being done. You must develop the ability to predict cash flow cycles before they arrive, to map your inflows and outflows in a way that reveals opportunities and dangers well before others even become aware of them. This requires a deliberate and methodical strategy, one that honestly accounts for volatility, uncertainty, and the genuinely unexpected events that every financial life eventually encounters. Creating and maintaining substantial financial reserves is not optional for those who are serious about lasting wealth. Reserves provide the freedom to act decisively and confidently when the right opportunity presents itself, and the resilience to withstand downturns without panic, without compromising your long-term position, and without making desperate decisions driven by fear. Contingency planning is not the overcautious approach of people who lack ambition. It is the cornerstone of financial dominance. You must understand the cyclical nature of money, how economic shifts, market trends, and personal decisions interact and collide to create periods of abundance and periods of genuine scarcity. When you achieve this level of insight, you stop being a passive participant in your financial life and begin to orchestrate every movement of your capital with intention and authority. You allocate resources strategically, directing money toward opportunities that generate real growth while minimizing exposure to risks that could undermine your progress. Dominating your cash flow does not mean accumulating wealth without purpose or direction. It means leveraging every dollar to create sustained advantage, building systems and structures that continue working even when you are not actively managing them. It means developing the kind of insight that allows you to continuously evaluate and adjust your strategy based on current information and long-term projections. This is a process that requires discipline, ongoing education, and an unyielding commitment to self-awareness. It is the ability to forecast trends, manage outcomes, and dominate the movement of money that separates those who merely survive from those who genuinely thrive. You must embrace the art of financial prudence while simultaneously exercising boldness in your decisions. Learn to recognize when to conserve and when to invest, when to hold steady and when to capitalize on momentary advantages that others are too cautious or too distracted to see. The mastery of cash flow is ultimately the mastery of financial freedom. Because when money is under your genuine control, it becomes a tool that serves your objectives rather than a force that quietly dictates your choices. Every reserve you maintain, every contingency you plan for, every strategic allocation you make contributes to a system in which you are always several steps ahead. A system where insight transforms into decisive action and where dominance over your finances creates an enduring edge that compounds over time. Financial mastery is not a destination you reach and then rest comfortably within. It is a continual practice of vigilance, foresight, and strategic implementation. By predicting trends before they arrive, controlling the allocation of your resources with precision, and dominating the flow of your money with unwavering discipline, you transform financial uncertainty into opportunity, scarcity into abundance, and reactive survival into proactive, intentional leadership. True mastery means your financial decisions are never left to chance, emotion, or changing circumstance. They are guided by a disciplined strategy, informed by knowledge, experience, and the kind of foresight that only comes from committed, ongoing study of how money actually moves. This is the essence of mastering cash flow, the ability to predict, control, and dominate your financial reality, turning money into a servant that works tirelessly around the clock to advance your vision, support your ambitions, and secure the freedom you have committed to building. Chapter 6: The Art of the Deal. Finding Cash Flow Opportunities. An investor's job is to increase the velocity of money. You are surrounded by untapped cash flow opportunities every single day. Most people walk past them without a second glance. They lack the vision to see what is hidden in plain sight. The art of finding cash flow opportunities is not a secret power reserved for a select few. It is a learnable skill that anyone willing to study and apply can master. The foundation of this skill is understanding that money has velocity, a speed at which it moves through investments, businesses, and financial systems. The faster money moves intelligently, the greater the return on every dollar involved. Every successful investor understands that the objective is not simply to accumulate assets as trophies to display. It is to acquire assets that generate consistent, reliable cash flow from day one. This is the essence of value creation, securing deals where the income stream meaningfully exceeds all expenses, taxes, and liabilities associated with the investment. The first step in identifying genuine cash flow opportunities is training your vision to see beyond the surface of things. Most people focus on price or appearance when evaluating a potential investment. But price is just a number. It is the underlying income potential that determines whether a deal is genuinely worthwhile. A property, a business, or a financial asset may appear expensive at first glance. But if the monthly cash flow is strong, predictable, and sustainable, it is a powerful tool for building financial independence. Conversely, a cheap investment becomes a liability the moment it fails to generate sufficient revenue to cover its costs. Once you recognize that income is the true measure of any deal, the next step is rigorous, disciplined deal analysis. This means carefully reviewing every relevant aspect of a potential opportunity, from operational costs to market trends, from tax implications to long-term growth potential. Investors who consistently succeed in generating positive cash flow are meticulous in their evaluation process. They do not rely on luck, emotional excitement, or speculation. They demand hard numbers and realistic, conservatively modeled projections. They calculate expected income, subtract every identifiable cost, account for vacancies or slowdowns, and stress test the numbers against the worst-case scenarios they can reasonably imagine. Identifying strong opportunities also requires a developed understanding of timing and market dynamics. Cash flow investing is often about strategic positioning. The investor who enters a market when demand is increasing, when rents or revenues are rising, when interest rates are favorable, when the local economy is showing signs of meaningful growth, can acquire an asset at an advantageous price and lock in a stronger income stream from the very beginning. Savvy investors constantly observe trends. They monitor shifts in consumer behavior, study regulatory changes, and evaluate regional economic indicators with the same attention a doctor gives to a patient's vital signs. By doing this consistently, they gain early insight into which deals will produce reliable cash flow and which will become financial drains no matter how attractive they initially appeared. Another crucial element of the art of the deal is strategic value creation. Cash flow opportunities are rarely static. They can almost always be enhanced through improvements in operations, marketing, or management quality. A rental property can increase its monthly income through thoughtful renovation, better tenant property management, or professional property management. A business acquisition can become significantly more profitable by streamlining internal processes, improving the sales approach, or introducing complementary services that expand revenue without proportionally expanding costs. Every investor who has truly mastered cash flow understands that acquiring an asset is only the beginning of the story. The real power lies in actively managing and improving it to maximize income while systematically minimizing risk. This proactive mindset differentiates those who merely hold assets from those who turn them into genuine engines of lasting wealth. Negotiation skills are an essential and often underappreciated component of finding and securing genuine cash flow deals. Every negotiation is an opportunity to protect your cash flow, reduce your risk, and structure terms that work in your favor for years to come. Whether negotiating purchase prices, loan terms, vendor contracts, or partnership arrangements, the objective is always the same. Ensure that the income generated clearly and comfortably exceeds the total cost and effort of maintaining the asset. Confidence, thorough knowledge, and careful preparation are the three things that give you genuine leverage in any negotiation. Remember that every individual asset is not the end goal. It is a building block in a larger, evolving system designed to generate multiple streams of income that compound over time. The most successful cash flow investors constantly evaluate their entire portfolio, seeking synergies, pursuing diversification, and identifying new growth opportunities. They allocate resources intelligently, reinvesting profits into additional cash flow, generating opportunities with the patience and precision of someone who understands exactly where each dollar is going and why. Risk management is inseparable from the art of the deal. Even the most carefully selected opportunities carry potential pitfalls. The successful investor prepares for these eventualities by maintaining adequate reserves, diversifying income sources across multiple asset types, and continuously monitoring the performance of every asset in their portfolio. Cash flow mastery is ultimately about creating deals resilient enough to generate reliable income across a wide variety of conditions, not just in the best of times, but through the difficult ones as well. The mindset underlying all of this is the single most important factor. You must cultivate a vision that genuinely sees potential where others see only obstacles. You must develop the patience to wait for opportunities that meet your strict cash flow criteria. And you must have the courage to act decisively and with full commitment when the right opportunity finally presents itself. When you master the art of the deal, properties, businesses, stocks, and other income-generating assets will no longer appear intimidating. They will appear as tools you can acquire, manage, and grow into the engines of your lasting freedom. Chapter 7. Protecting your flow. Risk management for the master. Cash flow is the lifeblood of any financial enterprise, and you cannot truly master your cash flow if you ignore the absolute necessity of protecting it. Every serious individual, entrepreneur, and investor understands that the accumulation of wealth is only half of the equation. Protection is equally vital, and it is the half that most people never adequately plan for until something goes badly wrong. Without strong defensive measures in place, all the strategies you have implemented to generate income can be undone in an instant by unexpected events, market fluctuations, lawsuits, or legal complications you never anticipated. Risk mitigation is not an optional element of financial planning. It is a mandatory pillar of cash flow mastery. You must learn to examine your financial life as if it were a fortress that you are responsible for defending. Every asset, every income stream, and every investment must be thoughtfully shielded from potential threats. Wealthy individuals understand the power of legal structures and employ them with intention and strategic purpose. Corporations, trusts, limited liability companies, and holding companies are not merely tools for tax efficiency. They are genuine shields that protect assets against lawsuits, creditor claims, and unforeseen liabilities that could otherwise destroy years of careful work overnight. By legally structuring your holdings with the guidance of qualified professionals, you can ensure that no single event, however severe, has the power to bring down your entire financial foundation. Building a substantial financial buffer is another critical component of true cash flow security. You must maintain reserves that can absorb real shocks, business downturns, medical emergencies, natural disasters, sudden market corrections, or the kind of unexpected personal crises that no amount of planning can entirely prevent. This buffer is not a passive safety net sitting idle in a savings account. It is an active enabler that allows you to take calculated risks with genuine confidence, knowing that your core financial systems remain protected even when things go wrong on the periphery. The buffer should be liquid, immediately accessible, and sufficient to cover at minimum several months of essential expenses across all your active ventures. It is the tool that ensures continuity and stability in your cash flow during times of stress, giving your money the ability to keep working for you, even when external circumstances are working against you. Insurance is another essential pillar of protecting your cash flow, and one that is consistently underestimated by those who have not yet experienced a serious financial loss. Comprehensive coverage across multiple domains, property liability, business interruption, health, life, and disability insurance, acts as a force multiplier for your entire defensive strategy. Insurance allows you to transfer specific categories of risk to third parties, providing a safety net that preserves the integrity of your income streams when the unexpected strikes. This is not simply about paying premiums and hoping for the best. It is about understanding your genuine exposure, evaluating the realistic probabilities of various risks, and strategically managing those threats so that unexpected events do not permanently derail your financial plans. Diversification also plays a critical and irreplaceable role in sound risk management. Relying on a single source of income or a single type of investment concentrates your vulnerability in a way that one bad outcome can destroy everything you have built. Wealthy individuals deliberately spread their investments across multiple asset classes, industries, and geographic areas. This is not simply a strategy for increasing returns. It is primarily a strategy for reducing the vulnerability of your overall position. By diversifying thoughtfully, you create a system in which the failure or underperformance of one component does not collapse the entire structure. Each income stream becomes a pillar supporting a larger, more resilient financial architecture. Legal compliance and proper documentation are frequently overlooked but critically important aspects of protecting your cash flow. Contracts, agreements, and properly formalized structures create enforceable rules that clearly define ownership, responsibilities, and the rights of all parties involved. Without proper legal documentation, assets can be disputed, income streams can be challenged, and wealth that took years to build can be lost through ambiguity or negligence. The law is not an obstacle for those who understand it. It is a powerful protective tool when applied strategically and maintained diligently. Monitoring and regularly reviewing your defensive strategies is equally important and equally easy to neglect once your initial structures are in place. Risk management is not a static process that you complete once and then file away. Economic conditions change, businesses evolve, regulations shift. Personal circumstances transform in ways you cannot always predict. You must remain vigilant, consistently assessing your structures, buffers, insurance coverage, and legal positions to ensure they remain effective and aligned with your current situation. Another critical consideration is the careful management of liabilities. Liabilities can erode your financial strength faster than any external shock. It is not enough to accumulate assets if liabilities grow unchecked alongside them. Paying off high-interest debts, structuring loans wisely, and avoiding unnecessary financial obligations are essential steps that must be taken with the same seriousness as any investment decision. Each liability should be scrutinized for its risk and potential impact on your cash flow. By minimizing liabilities deliberately and consistently, you free your income streams from obligations that would otherwise drain your resources and reduce your financial resilience in the moments when you need it most. Education and financial literacy are the invisible foundation beneath every element of effective risk management. You cannot protect what you do not fully understand. Knowledge of tax implications, market behavior, available legal tools, insurance products, and comprehensive financial planning is indispensable for anyone who is serious about preserving what they have built. Those who succeed at long-term cash flow mastery invest as much intellectual effort in learning to protect their money as they invest in learning to grow it. A well-informed mind can foresee potential threats, anticipate problems before they become crises, and implement solutions while there is still time to act decisively. Ultimately, the ability to protect your cash flow empowers you to act boldly, invest aggressively, and innovate without the paralyzing fear of catastrophic loss. Protection is not restriction. It is liberation. It allows your money to serve you completely and without interruption. supporting your goals, funding your ambitions, and sustaining the lifestyle you have worked deliberately to create. Every protective measure you take compounds over time, creating layers of security that magnify your ability to generate, preserve, and genuinely enjoy the wealth you have built. Risk mitigation, asset protection, financial buffers, legal structures, diversification, insurance, liability management, ongoing monitoring, and financial literacy together form a comprehensive framework that ensures your cash flow continues without interruption, regardless of what the world throws at you. When you protect your flow, you do not merely survive the inevitable storms of financial life. You thrive through them. You create a financial legacy that endures. And you ensure that your money continues to serve you faithfully, without interruption, for the rest of your life and beyond. Chapter 8. Good debt versus bad debt. The smart person's secret. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Understand the difference between the two is one of the most powerful financial distinctions you will ever learn. You have been taught to fear all debt as if it were a disease that destroys everything it touches. The truth is far more nuanced and far more empowering than that simplistic fear. There is debt that enslaves and debt that liberates. There is debt that steadily consumes your financial resources month after month, and there is debt that multiplies your wealth and opens doors that your personal capital alone could never unlock. Good debt is strategic. It is purposeful. It is your ally in building long-term financial security and independence. Bad debt, on the other hand, is reckless, unnecessary, and rooted entirely in consumption rather than creation. Understanding the difference between these two categories is not just useful. It is essential to mastering cash flow at any meaningful level. When used intelligently, debt becomes a lever, a tool that allows you to acquire assets generating income far greater than the cost of the borrowing itself. Real estate investments, business expansions, and high-yield ventures can all be financed using other people's money, but only if you genuinely understand the mechanics involved and maintain discipline over the risks you are taking. Avoiding all debt out of fear keeps you permanently stagnant and places a hard ceiling on your financial potential. The financially literate person evaluates every borrowing opportunity by asking one critical question. Does this increase my cash flow, or does it merely satisfy a short-term desire that will leave me poorer a year from now? Bad debt drains your future. It purchases things that lose value the moment you acquire them. It funds lifestyle consumption rather than wealth creation. It traps you in payments that compound against you while your net worth quietly erodes. The person who borrows to buy a depreciating vehicle, an expensive vacation, or consumer electronics they cannot truly afford is selling a piece of their future freedom. For a momentary feeling of satisfaction, good debt accelerates your future. It funds the acquisition of assets that produce income exceeding the cost of carrying the debt. The person who borrows wisely to purchase a rental property generating positive cash flow every month is using other people's money to build their own wealth efficiently, systematically, and without waiting years to accumulate sufficient personal capital to act. True debt mastery requires three things working together: discipline, knowledge, and strategic planning. It is about making money work for you rather than against you. Cash flow investing, when paired with intelligently applied good debt, transforms potential into concrete reality. It turns fear into genuine confidence and scarcity into abundance. Every dollar borrowed must be evaluated through the lens of return. What income will this debt produce? What assets will it help acquire? How does the cost of borrowing compare to the income generated? The moment a borrowed dollar is justified by the cash flow it creates, it stops being a burden and becomes a tool in your wealth-building arsenal. A financial plan that ignores the distinction between good and bad debt is fundamentally incomplete and destined to underperform regardless of how sophisticated its other elements might be. The ability to distinguish between consumption and investment, between liability and asset, between debt that imprisons and debt that emancipates. This is what separates those who remain financially stuck from those who achieve lasting independence. Stop running from debt as if all forms of it are identical. Stop fearing the numbers before you understand them. Study how leverage actually works. Calculate your returns carefully and use borrowing as a deliberate instrument of wealth creation when the numbers genuinely support it. Cash flow mastery is impossible without this understanding, because the moment you use well-chosen debt to acquire income, producing assets, you stop working for money and begin the irreversible process of having money work for you. Debt is not your enemy. Ignorance is. Knowledge of financial leverage, disciplined application of borrowing, and an unwavering commitment to long-term growth. These are what transform good debt from a theoretical concept into a practical vehicle for the wealth you have always been capable of building. The smart person knows that debt is a tool, not a trap. And by mastering it with intention and precision, you open doors to opportunities that those paralyzed by fear of all debt will never have the courage to walk through. Chapter 9. Stop working for money. The mindset shift you need. Rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they mistakenly believe are assets. You must radically change how you view money if you are ever going to escape the endless cycle of trading your time for dollars, of serving a system that was never designed to make you genuinely wealthy. Most people are deeply trapped inside a framework where income is measured purely by hours, spent at a desk, or effort, expended in service to someone else's goals. The secret of cash flow mastery does not begin with finding a higher paying position or committing to longer hours of labor. It begins in the mind, and until the mind changes, nothing else will change, regardless of how much money passes through your hands. The first and most fundamental step is understanding the difference in perspective between those who remain financial employees for life and those who build lasting, independent wealth. The employee mindset sees money as something to earn and then spend, and measures success primarily by the size and reliability of a paycheck. The wealth builder's mindset recognizes that real power comes from acquiring assets that generate income independently of any labor you provide. Assets put money to work on your behalf while you sleep. Liabilities consume your resources under the convincing illusion that they represent meaningful ownership and achievement. To make this shift genuinely and permanently, you must learn to recognize liabilities disguised as assets with the practiced eye of someone who has been fooled before and refuses to be fooled again. You must question every purchase, every financial commitment, and every decision through the lens of a single question. Does this put money into my pocket, or does it take money out? Everything that takes money out is a liability. Everything that puts money in is an asset. This distinction, applied consistently and without exception, will transform your financial life more reliably than any specific investment strategy or income technique. Financial freedom is simply impossible if you continue chasing a salary while simultaneously accumulating expenses that give the of success without building the foundation of it. You must begin seeing yourself not as an employee bound by time and dependent on an employer's goodwill, but as a creator, an owner, and a strategic architect of systems that generate income independently. This chapter challenges you to identify the habits, beliefs, and cultural programming that keep you locked in the employee trap. The deeply ingrained conviction that working harder and longer is the reliable path to a better financial life. Because once you genuinely accept that working for money is the slowest possible path to financial freedom, you can begin redirecting your energy towards something far more powerful. Investing in knowledge, acquiring true assets, developing systems that allow money to serve your life rather than requiring your life to serve money. Each decision you make from this point forward must be guided by a clear, honest understanding of whether it moves you closer to financial independence or simply fills your obligations for another month while leaving your actual position unchanged. The ability to acquire assets, to allow them to generate income on your behalf, and to consistently avoid the liabilities that masquerade as wealth. This is the single most transformative skill a person can develop in the modern financial world. And it is available to anyone who commits to developing it, regardless of where they are starting from. When you make this mental shift fully and without reservation, you stop living paycheck to paycheck and start building toward a future where your time belongs entirely to you, not to an employer, not to a creditor, and not to the financial obligations you were never taught how to avoid. Imagine waking each morning completely free from the anxiety of financial pressure, knowing that your assets are working, your income streams are flowing, and your money is building your future even while you rest. That is not a fantasy available only to the extraordinarily lucky or privileged. It is the predictable result of making the right mental shift and then taking the right actions consistently enough for long enough. This is the core of cash flow mastery, transforming your relationship with money at its most fundamental level, understanding the distinction between assets and liabilities with absolute clarity, and committing fully to a life where money is your servant rather than your master. Stop trading hours for dollars. Start building the reality where your financial independence is not a distant hope, but an inevitable outcome of deliberate, consistent, intelligent action taken day after day after day. Chapter 10. Your life, your terms. The ultimate freedom of cash flow mastery. The greatest wealth is to live content with little, a truth expressed centuries ago that now expands into a sharper and more powerful reality. True wealth allows you to choose, freely and without constraint, how much or how little you desire. This is not a call to deprivation, and it is not an endorsement of excess. It is the ultimate expression of genuine freedom, the power to decide entirely for yourself how your life is shaped and to live by your own authentic measure. You have pursued the discipline of cash flow mastery with determination. You have tracked every dollar, invested with patience, built assets that generate income while you sleep, and created systems that work independently of your constant presence. You have done what most people only talk about. And now you stand in a place where money no longer commands your schedule or dictates the state of your mind. You have turned money into your servant. And with that transformation comes a life that belongs entirely to you. Freedom at this level is not the illusion of endless, unconstrained spending. It is the quiet, deep, unshakable strength of genuine choice. You can choose to work or to rest, to travel to places you have always imagined, or to remain rooted in what you love most, to build new ventures that excite you, or to simply and fully enjoy the life you have already created without apology or justification to anyone. You can decide to live with simplicity and feel entirely complete, or to expand and create more, simply because the decision is yours to make and because you have earned the right to make it freely. The hours of your day belong to you, and that ownership, that true, unencumbered ownership of your own time, is the most valuable and meaningful asset you will ever hold in your life. Purpose takes center stage when cash flow mastery becomes a living, breathing reality. Without the constant pressure of bills, obligations, and financial anxiety crowding your mind, you can focus with genuine clarity on what matters most. You can give your time to the people you love without the shadow of financial worry following you through every moment. You can devote your energy to a craft or a cause that genuinely stirs something deep within you. You can design a future that reflects your actual convictions and values, not the compromises that financial pressure forced upon you. And your wealth, the systems and streams and assets you built with such discipline and patience, becomes a resource you direct toward real and lasting impact. Whether that means supporting a community, mentoring others on their own financial journeys, or creating opportunities for the next generation to start from a better position than you did. Your wealth is not merely measured in numbers. It is measured in the meaning you create and the legacy you choose to leave. Legacy is the natural, inevitable extension of true freedom. With your finances genuinely under control and your income flowing independently, you can plan far beyond the present moment. You can establish foundations, invest in projects that will outlive you, and ensure that your family inherits more than financial assets. They inherit a mindset, a way of thinking about money, ownership, and freedom that will serve them long after you are gone. The systems you built, the habits you reinforce daily, and the wisdom you embodied through every difficult financial decision will continue to influence lives long after your own has concluded. This is the lasting reward of mastering cash flow, the gift of an empowered mindset passed forward, quietly and permanently, to those who follow. Autonomy reshapes your relationship with time in ways that are genuinely difficult to describe to those who have not yet experienced it. Days are no longer dictated by external demands or other people's schedules. They are structured by your own priorities, your own energy, and your own evolving vision of what a good and meaningful day looks like. You can spend an afternoon learning, creating, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, without the shadow of financial worry hovering at the edge of every peaceful moment. You can engage in work purely for the joy it brings you, not for the paycheck that arrives at the end of it. Living on your own terms does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow deliberately, in directions you choose, at a pace you set, for reasons that matter to you. You pursue opportunities not because you must, but because you genuinely want to. You invest in ideas that excite you. Collaborate with people who inspire you. Take risks that align with your deepest values and your clearest vision. You understand that money is abundant when guided by purpose, and that wealth expands most powerfully when it serves something greater than its own accumulation. This is the ultimate freedom that cash flow mastery delivers. The point at which discipline and genuine desire finally meet, where practical systems merge with personal passion in a way that makes every financial decision feel aligned rather than forced. You have moved beyond survival. You have moved beyond the endless, exhausting chase for more. You have arrived at something far more valuable than wealth alone. A state where money and meaning coexist, where cash flows naturally toward the life you have designed, and where every morning begins with the unshakable knowledge that you are living exactly as you chose to live. You wake when you choose. You create because it fulfills you. You give because you genuinely can. You stand as living proof that the greatest wealth is not found in possessions, bank balances, or external displays of success. It is found in the unshakable, hard-earned ability to decide what matters and to live accordingly every single day without compromise and without apology. You have mastered cash flow. You have mastered yourself. And with that mastery comes a legacy of freedom that no market correction, no economic storm, and no external force can ever take away from you. This is your life. These are your terms. Live them fully, with gratitude, with purpose, and without apology. And with that, we close The Secret of Cash Flow Mastery. 10 powerful chapters on building a financial life that is truly, completely yours. From commanding your cash flow, to hunting down every hidden leak, to understanding the real difference between assets and liabilities, to the mindset shift that changes everything. Every chapter in this audiobook was designed to do one thing: to shift the way you think about money at the deepest possible level. Because every lasting financial transformation begins exactly there, in the mind, long before it appears in the bank account. Before you go, take one principle from today and put it into action this week. Not next month, not when things feel more settled. This week, whether it is sitting down with your bank statements for the very first time, canceling one unnecessary subscription, opening your first real investment account, or simply writing down every belief you carry about money and asking yourself honestly whether each one is serving you or limiting you. One and genuine step forward is worth more than 1,000 careful plans that stay permanently in your head. If this audiobook brought you real value today, if even one idea shifted how you see your financial life, do us a simple favor right now. Hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps this content reach thousands of people who are searching for exactly what you just heard. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, right now is the moment. We release full audiobooks and deep financial education content every single week. The kind of thinking that the wealthy have always understood and that most people are never taught. Hit the notification bell and join a growing community of people who are serious, genuinely serious, about taking control of their financial story. Drop a comment below and tell us, which chapter hit you hardest today? Which idea are you carrying into your week? We read every single one. Until next time, protect your flow, build your assets, and never forget the most important truth in this entire audiobook. Money is either your master or your servant. The only thing that determines which one it is you.